Welcome back to the Navy Sports Magazine. We're presented by the Navy Federal Credit Union. Pleased to be joined by Navy Sam Kwatkosky of the track and field team. Outdoor Army Navy meet coming up this weekend. Sam, look, the marquee sells it all, but as part of that leadership group within your team, what are the keys this week to just remaining focused? Because you know everybody on your team's got physical talent. That's why they're there. But what's the key this week to keeping that mental focus to make sure you're peaking coming up on the weekend?
Yeah, so we're doing a lot of stuff that's pretty typical for big meets like this. So we're starting to deload a little bit, so that way everybody's like 110% this weekend. We're also starting to give everybody a good focus, like get your sleep, eat the right food, get some good chow and stuff. But something my coach always says, he's like, "You guys it's home turf this weekend, right? So it's for us." And so we're comfortable competing in this environment because we do it every day at practice. So it's just like going back to your fundamentals and just letting your body do the work. Because like you said, like we're athletes and we're ready to go. And so we're just going to get out there and just do it. It's plain and simple, I think.
We talk about it in team sports all the time, individual sports. You know, golfers like certain courses, tennis players like certain surfaces. But what does home turf advantage mean this week as a performer?
I think it means that we'll be ready because we've competed in like every type of environment at home. We've competed in rain, we've competed in like perfect gorgeous weather. So we're ready, we're comfortable, and I think us being comfortable at home, regardless of the situation, is what gives us a true upper hand. Plus, everybody loves being home. We love seeing the blue and gold on the track. We're gonna have a big fan base there this weekend, so that always gives us a huge boost. Because I know personally, the energy in the ring when there's fans around, that just like everything just starts to fly farther. People start running faster. It's crazy because Army Navy is something different. So I think that environment at home is definitely something different.
You know, as a thrower, what do weather elements mean for you, and how can that affect performance depending on the type of weather that you have?
Yeah, it's crazy. So sometimes we say that American athletes compete in perfect conditions too often, which leads to poor performance on the international stage. And it's like just a running joke we have, but we do say that a lot, and we do take it serious. So we try and spice up the ring as much as we can by like throwing in water sometimes, like flooding the ring so they're ready for a rainy environment. But a wet ring goes faster, so you can slip and shot put, but in hammer, a wet ring lets you get your foot down and rotate faster, which allows you to generate more speed. So it affects every event differently. And it's like knowing, like reading the room and like reading the weather as you step into that new event. Because even discus, like if it's raining, obviously it's going to be slick. So you're playing the towel game all day and trying to dry off your discs. But it's just, I think everything's different as soon as you step into that ring to get ready to compete. And so just like reading the weather, it's like, where's the wind coming from? How we doing? How's the surface feel? And then just getting after it.
Let's turn the clock back a little bit. What was the difference for you between your first year campaign and your second year campaign? Because you really, in multiple disciplines, really seem to take a significant leap in that second year. And it's not as if you were new to track and field. So, what was the difference for you that really allowed you to vault yourself into a top performer in multiple categories?
I would say plebe year is just a struggle for a lot of people. And so it was no different for me. I had my struggles plebe year, but I had just great upper leadership on the team at the time. And so I remember coming in one day at practice and I was just like, I was starting to get angry at myself. I was mad and I like couldn't put anything together. And I was like visibly upset with myself towards the end of my plebe year. And I was like, man, I've been working hard all year and nothing's coming together. And then one of my seniors at the time was like, hey man, like something that changed my attitude plebe year is like, you got to reset your standards and you got to like chase form instead of chasing a mark. And so once I started to do that, and like every day I came in with like this mentality of like, I'm going to fix this today, or this is how I'm getting better today. And then improving that allowed my form and everything I did to like go up so much faster, like an exponential rate. And so I think that's what helped me to jump into as a performer on the team. And so now I try to push that down to all the young guys I can. So
I was going to say, I mean, in sports and in life, really, I mean, we talk about the details. And I imagine even in this, and for all of the different disciplines that track and field encompasses for you and your teammates, I imagine success really is in the details, is it not?
It is 100%. It's crazy because I wasn't very involved in like many other aspects of track and field when I was younger. And so like throwing was a big part of it. And then coming in and like talking to other event groups about like what's it like, the nitty gritty of what they do. Everybody, if you talk to them long enough, you'll hear something that's like, wow, I actually did not think about that at all. And that's just one of the small details of their event. It's like there's things in high jump and pole vault that I like didn't know. And then there's things about like just pure running form that I was like, obviously, I'm not a big runner, right? So you got to be a little heavier set for what I do. But like understanding like these different unique parts of form and stuff was always super interesting. So I would 100% agree. It really gets down to the details.
What does Coach Cook and the coaching staff mean to this program? Upon his arrival, we've seen both teams blended together. Just what makes this all so successful for you all as a program, and clearly starting there at the top?
Yeah, so I really got to see that like kind of firsthand as like my 4 years here, and like every time like at the end of a championship meet, like Coach Cook gets up there and he gets like coach of the meet and then coach of the meet again, and I think that is truly because of the bringing together of the two programs, and I think him and the coaching staff have done an amazing job of like incorporating like men and women running together, like competing together and doing all these things together, and then like that allows the unit cohesion of like the whole team to come together. And I think the strength of our people, like and how much they care about each other, is what is helping us to drive and become such a successful program. Because I know there used to be some divides and everything, but I know like even in the throws, like and we're alternating reps. So it's like it'll be like me throwing, and it'll be like Autumn throwing, and it'll be David throwing, and then it'll be like JoJo throwing. And like all these people like in the mix and match allows us to critique form in different ways. And I think and then all of us coming together to like have team meals and like talk together and bond together. I think that unit cohesion and that tightness is what's really helping us to propel that. And the coaching staff has only done more to facilitate that more and more. And I think that that's awesome.
For you, growing up, obviously, football, basketball, track and field, all part of your background. One of the huge discussions we have on a daily basis in sports is the multi-sport athlete. Just how did playing multiple sports help you obviously find a vehicle to one of the greatest places on earth to get an education?
Yeah. So Wayne Gretzky, I listened to a master class by him, and he talked about how like you have your main sport, but then all your hobbies and the other things you do, you always find a way to translate them, and that gives you a different perspective into what you do. And so definitely being a multi-sport athlete in high school helped me to like really broaden my horizons and talk to more people and like understand different techniques and like the aggressiveness of being on the O line and how it translated to like the aggressiveness I needed in a shot put, and like the finesse of like a 3 pointer, which like translated into discus. And so like bringing all those things together helped me to be like propel myself better, but also like learning a lot of leadership lessons and like how to work as a team early in all those different teams because every team operates differently. I think helped me to get in the academy because I was like already talking about leadership and already like thinking about these things, and that helped like so as soon as I got here, I felt like I was already on a strong foot. But it was awesome to see that as soon as I got here, like you're no longer the cream of the crop when you get here. It's like now it's the best, and everybody's the best. So it's just like a bunch of studs doing whatever they do. And so that was awesome to see too.
What does it mean to at a place like this? Because as you've just talked about it, it's different, but to be asked to be and be given the respect to be in a position of leadership. What does that mean to you as you've watched it evolve yourself over the first 3 years leading up to your final campaign?
Leadership is crazy because like when I was a plebe, it's crazy when you're a freshman, you come in and you're so malleable and like all you want to do is like look up to the older guys because especially in a place like this, like especially at the academy, you look up and you see the older guys and you're like, wow, they're going to serve like within a year or like second semester, like they're leaving for graduation soon. Like, what are they doing that they're going to implement in their platoon or their division? And how are they implementing on the team? Um, and the team has taught me so much about leadership that I don't know if I could have learned anywhere else. And there's so much to be learned about like peer leadership and like just holding the younger guys accountable. It's crazy because before I got team captain, I had the previous team captain tell me some advice, and he was like, "Hey, like just understand that everything you do is watched by every single person." And he goes, "So if you don't finish the rep, they're not going to finish the rep. If you don't show up to practice 15 minutes early, they're not going to show up 5 minutes early. And so it's like all of these things that it's leadership is so stressful and so hard, and like everybody at the academy gets a bite of that no matter what they do. That's just like the nature of the beast. And so I think that's amazing, and I think that's what propels Naval Academy graduates to be like as good as they are, is because they're always, even as a youngster and even as a freshman, like you're learning these different bits about leadership that just take you and keep going. And I think that's special.
How different is the Sam Kwatkosky that is talking to me now than arrived here 4 years ago?
Um, he's a little heavier. He's got a better attitude for sure. But I would say plebe summer was a complete transformation for me. Like, even if you could ask my parents, they would be like, the kid that we saw on graduation day in high school, and then the kid that we saw on plebe parent weekend, it was like, what did you do with my son? And so, and it's because I think that just the academy just has a way about that. It's like I was so much more ready to learn and so much more ready to like get after it. And like that immediately translated into track. And I was like, because in the hall, I was like being pushed around and running around and, trying to do the best I could. But then as soon as I got to practice, I was like, wow, like this is my tribe. These are my people. Like I got to like get after it. And then that has only grown since plebe year. I've only been more excited to go to practice, more excited to see the people I want to talk to and things like that. So
Back in the beginning, you said one of the keys this week is to make sure you're eating right and getting enough rest and all that stuff. But if you guys are successful in securing the star and you accomplish your goals this weekend, and we get to sit down and have one meal to celebrate, what is Sam Kwatkosky choosing for that meal to celebrate another potential star against the Black Knights?
it could be because I'm from Florida, so I'm like a little Southern, but I love just a big old steak and potatoes. That's my favorite meal. Just a porterhouse, a, uh, a good old like potato with everything, all the sour cream, the scallions. Oh, that just goes a long way. And a good Caesar salad. Oh, because I have a lot more salads now, so it's good.
Dude, as a guy that can appreciate a guy that's a little bit bigger, I'm all for that. We can sit
Yes,
down and
sir.
have a porterhouse, no doubt about that. Sam, appreciate the time. Best of luck to you and your teammates this weekend as you compete against the Black Knights, and all the best to you and your teammates the rest of the season.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate everything. I appreciate the time. Go Navy, beat Army.